Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm speaking to you from Marrakesh, Morocco, at the office of the HAF Foundation. We are very appreciative to be able to implement Farmer to Farmer here in Morocco, and also the USAID Dakira program. Dakira in Arabic means memories, and Morocco has a very special history of social solidarity, multiculturalism, interfaith. Uh, I think tolerance may be a soft word, but unity. At times that may be, of course, the trials of life and history, but it's quite a remarkable cultural life today and in the past here in Morocco. I'm going to describe a little bit about the HAF Foundation and get into how Farmer to Farmer and USAID and the Dakira program have been able to enhance each other. In terms of what we do at the HAF Foundation, we implement the priorities that communities identify together. And because we work primarily in rural places, 3/4 of poverty in Morocco exists in the rural countryside. 80% of rural incomes come from agriculture. It's natural that an emphasis of our work will be in that sector, and that Farmer to Farmer has an incredibly comfortable, helpful, important place in this process. And when we talk about agriculture, in terms of the priorities that communities identify, it is from nurseries to market, certifying organic, monitoring trees for carbon offset credits, building cooperatives, financial systems of those cooperatives. It's the gamut of what it takes to grow and sell and market and be successful in Morocco's market and also internationally. But our job at the HAF Foundation is to assist communities in that identifying decision-making process. We are ultimately a team of facilitators, and we begin with Imagine Women's Empowerment. In this slide, you see multiple programs of HAF, but women's empowerment overlays all our programs. It's how we launch a sustainable development process. And Imagine, this methodology that took us 2 years to develop. We have 15 full-time empowerment trainers. Each empowerment trainer has gone through a year of training. It begins with 4 days of groups of women. We've done the 4-day experience 111 times, involving more than 2,500 people in 25 provinces. That 4 days allows for a serious introspection of social relationships, of our outlook of money and work, emotions, sexuality, spirituality, of course, in the Moroccan traditional sense. It really looks at what are the factors in life that are enabling, that is building confidence, and factors that may be inhibiting and creating doubt. And so what we've learned was that if we go straight to participation in decision-making, when we haven't experienced empowerment first, we don't realize the opportunity of participation. We hold ourselves back. We don't express what we feel. And so we learn the hard way that if we start with empowerment, the 4 days, and then go into community planning of projects, there is a sense of direction and future and determination to achieve it. So that's why we begin with this empowerment methodology. I will say, too, that in addition to Farmer to Farmer and Dakira enabling each other in certain cases, Farmer to Farmer has also made a difference for the family literacy program, in that which is funded by the EU, which HAF is implementing with 40 women's cooperatives in 2 regions of the country, because that begins with Imagine. And when there's an agricultural technical need that emerges from that 4-day of group assessment, then we can integrate Farmer to Farmer into that. And 3 assignments came from the EU Family Literacy Program. In addition to Dakira, which I'll talk about more, of course, we all know our beloved Farmer to Farmer program. And in our case, these are our numbers just very quickly. I just want to underscore the recommendation section here. we did a study of the number of recommendations implemented when hosts went through that 4-day baseline assessment first, and then SOWs and assignments emerged from that 4-day introspection. And then we did an assessment of HOs that didn't go through the 4 days, that we did a straight ODI assessment that is more typically done. We found that 11% more recommendations are implemented when hosts go through the 4-day Imagine empowerment experience. So the DAKIRA program, we are, as I mentioned, we're a participatory facilitating organization. So why have we ended up and vigorously pursued this amazing opportunity in DAKIRA? The preservation of memories. Now, young people today in Morocco didn't live the multicultural past when Moroccan Jewish, Moroccan Christian, Moroccan Muslim people lived side by side. After World War II, there were 300,000 Moroccan Jewish people in this country, and now there are 2,000. And so that memory transmission needs to be assisted so that the young people of today know that incredible diversity of identity that makes up the Moroccan nationality. And so it happens through participatory meetings. There are methods for planning water projects and methods to reconcile conflict and participatory methods run the gamut of situations that we find in this world. But they also have designs to enable cultural transmission, cultural dialogue. And so as facilitators of participatory methods, it's just a matter of us investigating, researching, testing cultural discussion approaches at the community level involving women and men and of all ages and backgrounds that exist in that locality. And if we can continue that dialogue in a that cultural gateway of dialogue, if we can continue it, we can also then plan for the future. So we understand our identities are interlinked, that they are inseparable to what is Moroccan. What does that mean today for us, and what does that mean as we want to create the best future together? And so the past discussion becomes a future planning. And so therefore, it's a natural place for the High Atlas Foundation to work. And these are some of the outcomes, working with schools, of these community dialogues I referred to. More than 1,000 people have presented. We are just in our second year. Individual testimonies, events, again, and the training of tour guides, the training of young people to be able to then go on themselves and share the narratives and stories in their walks of life. Now, how does Farmer to Farmer and DAKIRA, a cultural preservation dialogue program, how do they integrate? We, in a situation outside of Marrakesh, about 40 minutes from here, there was a simple request to the High Atlas Foundation for land to build. The community had made their own determination that they wanted to build a nursery, and they can't build a nursery on their land because they have to harvest every year barley and corn. They can't forego what it takes to grow a seed into a sapling, which is about 2 years. And so that gift of land, which farming families and communities around Morocco face that hurdle, that gift of land allows that deadlock to be broken. And so in this area, there's a 700-year-old Hebrew saint buried there. Saints in Arabic, Salah, and Morocco has 600 of such saints of the Hebrew Jewish tradition buried in this country. It's remarkable in that there are 1 million Moroccan Jewish people today around the world, and many tens of thousands come back at the festival of the saint that they particularly identify with. Every year at the anniversary of the passing of that saint, there's a pilgrimage. And so these are very live, sacred locations. Now, in this case, outside of Marrakesh, next to the burial of the saint is empty land. So we went to the Moroccan Jewish community here in Marrakesh and said, may you lend this land for this community to build their nursery? And they said, of course, for free. And in fact, now we're time out, with distance. The Moroccan Jewish community will lend up to all 600 without cost. Morocco, based on the Ministry of Agriculture, needs 1 billion trees or plus as they transition from barley and corn to fruit trees. And so that gifted land, now thankfully the High Atlas Foundation receives land from the Moroccan government agencies, from municipalities, from provinces, from the Department of Waters and Forests, from the Ministry of Education, but also in this intercultural way. Now, that nursery and that community, that the local village association needed design, needed assistance, needed technical input, water, pressure drip pipes, containment, all kinds of technical support. And so there have been multiple volunteers, farmer experts lending assistance to this nursery. But at the same time, this nursery, as I mentioned, is also a destination, not just for pilgrims, but for university students, for professors, for Moroccan and international. I just want to say, in the past 3 months, we've had visits at this nursery having this intercultural dialogue from the University of Michigan, Chicago, Pepperdine, alumni group from Stanford, Darden, UVA, Yeshiva University, Princeton is coming this month, Allegheny University, all in the past few months, coming to this exact nursery. And so all of those groups hear about Farmer to Farm. And then of course we invite people surrounding that area to participate, and including groups of women from surrounding villages, and surrounding the nearest village is called Ashbaro. And a group of women came to an intercultural event, which then lead to another Imagine workshop. And they've built a cooperative making wool rugs from their sheep. And the dyes are from the medicinal plants that grow wild in their location. So it's a, I guess it's one of those things that evolve. If we would have said, 3-4 years ago, this is what's going to be, I think we would have recognized the opportunity, but I think it surpassed expectations. No one can know that so many people would find intercultural, interfaith dialogue so necessary and wanted, that people find this destination and want this destination. I'll just say this initial success has now resulted in the Moroccan government funding 50% of other subsequent interfaith nurseries, if you can believe it. The Moroccan Islamic government funding 50% of a community cooperative nursery built without cost on top of Moroccan Jewish community land. And that underscores the multicultural beauty of this country. So with that, you can see that in addition, the members of the women's cooperative put Moroccan symbols that underscore the Muslim-Jewish solidarity. So with that, I just want to say that often we think about cultural projects as preservation, non-activist in the sense that it doesn't meet human needs, and it's non-agricultural, and it doesn't provide food security, and it doesn't build cooperatives, and it doesn't generate income. But really, when you build cultural exploration within an overall sustainable development process, we realize that now we're seeing that those cultural activities need to be embedded in those 4 days, that we need to discover identity as part of an empowerment process. And so that we couldn't necessarily have predicted the true integration of cultural dialogue as a necessity for empowerment. And Farmer to Farmer and Akira has enabled us to reach that very heartfelt realization. So that's really it. That's all.
Great. Thank you so much, Yosef, for sharing a bit about High Atlas Foundation and that very important work.